Hi, so after doing some searching myself for a good video on how villager professions work, I decided that I just needed to experiment myself, and since I was having some difficulty with it, I figured I would just make a quick video on those tests to show you in case you might have had any questions, because I didn't find anything good on YouTube. So as you see, I have a couple villagers here, and I have the different workbenches around them. So let me show you what the experiments are. I'm going to go to a fresh area so I can show you this. Okay, so I'm in a new spot, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a villager here. So this is going to be a loom, and I will set up a bed for him because they need a profession site and they need a bed that they call a home. So if you put down a villager, he will instantly go to that profession. Now here's an interesting thing, and at night he will go to his bed. He may or may not get into it. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, sometimes they do. Okay, so that's good. Now during the day, they will just wander around a little bit. So he gets up, he just wanders around a little bit. Now actually if I move his loom over here, and I'll just move his work site. Let's move it over here a little bit further away. So for the time being, he'll just kind of goof off it during the day. Now if I go to noon, now he'll go to his work site. And that's the way all the villagers work. So let me go back to my other example here really fast. So right now it's noon and all the villagers are at their job site. If I go to nighttime, they will now go to their bed. And I'll get to the specific beds and job sites here in a second. Okay, so they all do that. Now, as I was saying, if we go to daytime, they don't automatically go to their job sites. So here's a cartographer. He could go there or there, in theory. I'll get to that in 1 second. But everybody else is just kind of hanging out and they're gossiping. That's another thing that they do. That's another trait that they do is they do gossip, which also will determine whether or not they're going to spawn iron golems. But that's something I'm not going to get into because there's people far more talented to do that video than I am. Now then, if we do a time set to noon, they go to their job sites. They will all go to their job sites, just like that. So that is how the villagers work. Now, if you might have noticed, there's this guy who's wandering around, and there's this guy over here who's wandering around. Interesting fact. I'm going to go back to the other example. So our shepherd over here, this is his work site, and that is his bed. If I put down another villager next to his work site, he does not change into a shepherd because this work site is already claimed by this shepherd. Now then, if I put down a smoker, he will become a butcher. Just like that. And that is the way it works. And he will go to the same bed as him. So they can share beds. He'll go find the closest bed that he can, and he will just claim that as his own. So the two of them will share the bed actually. So we're back to daytime. They're free to go about whatever they want to do. Right now they're just chatting. I go to noon. They will go to their work sites here in a second. They probably got to finish their conversation. Yeah, there they go. They finish their conversation and then they go back to their work sites. Now then, even if I were to throw down, say, a blast furnace. Let's put down a blast furnace. That will not change their profession. Okay, now if I put down a spawn egg, we know what he will be. If I put him next to the blast furnace, he will be a blacksmith. If I put him next to anything else, it won't matter. He'll still be a blacksmith. See? Blacksmith. Even though it was not the closest one, because that is the unclaimed work site. Now we get really technical and you can get into the data values of the villagers themselves. And inside the data values, it does say what the location of their job site is and what the location of their bed is. It's specific to that villager themselves. So, I think that is about the best that I can really do to explain how these guys work. Each villager, they can share beds, but each villager does need their own work site. So that's key to the whole thing. As far as breeding and everything else, you'll have to check out another video because I honestly don't know how that all works yet. But I wanted to share this because it was driving me a little nuts, so I thought I would. Alright, so with that, thank you for watching.